There are mods sitting in a gray area that every serious car person knows about, but nobody talks about openly. Not because they don't work. They work better than most of the legal options you've already tried. But depending on where you live, what you drive, and who pulls you over, these modifications can get you a fine, a failed inspection, or a conversation with law enforcement you'd rather not have. Here's what you need to understand before this list starts. The word illegal doesn't mean the same thing in every state, on every road, or for every vehicle. Some of these mods are federally restricted but state-tolerated. Some are legal on private property and illegal on public roads. Some exist in a loophole that hasn't been closed yet. And some are flat-out banned everywhere, but mechanics have been doing them quietly for decades because the performance gain is undeniable. You're not here for the mods that sort of work. You're here for the ones that actually move the needle: more power, better fuel economy, improved response, and the honest breakdown of exactly what you're risking by doing them. 10 mods, real results, real risks. Starting with the one that's sitting in more driveways right now than any other mod on this list, and the one most drivers don't even realize is technically illegal where they live. You've probably seen cold air intakes advertised at every auto parts store in the country. What you might not know is that the version that actually works, the one that pulls air from outside the engine bay instead of recycling warm air from inside it, is illegal in California and several other states unless it carries a CARB-EO number, which is a certification from the California Air Resources Board. Here's why that matters even if you don't live in California. California's emissions standards have been adopted in full or in part by more than a dozen other states. And the CARB-certified intake you're being sold at the parts counter is specifically engineered to pass inspection, which also means it's engineered to give up some of the performance that makes cold air intakes worth doing in the first place. The non-CARB version pulls denser, cooler air directly into your combustion chamber. Cooler air is denser air, and denser air carries more oxygen per cubic foot. More oxygen means a more complete burn. On a naturally aspirated engine, a properly installed non-certified cold air intake can add anywhere from 5 to 15 horsepower depending on your engine and tune. On a forced induction setup, the gains compound. The risk is straightforward. If you're in an emissions testing state and your car goes over the OBD scanner at inspection, a non-approved intake can trigger a fail. The fix is to swap it back for inspection and reinstall it after, which is exactly what a significant percentage of performance-oriented drivers do every single year. Your factory exhaust system was designed to balance 3 things: emissions compliance, noise reduction, and enough back pressure to keep your engine running efficiently at low RPMs. What it was not designed to do is maximize flow at high RPM, which is exactly where power lives. A straight pipe or cutout system removes the catalytic converter and the muffler from your exhaust path entirely. On the right engine, this can free up 20 to 40 horsepower that your factory system was literally choking out. The exhaust note becomes something else entirely, the kind of sound that makes people stop and turn around on the street. It is also federally illegal to remove a catalytic converter from a vehicle that was originally equipped with one. The Clean Air Act is specific and serious about this. And getting caught with a deleted cat during a roadside inspection or emissions test carries significant fines and can result in your vehicle being deemed unroadworthy. The way most performance drivers handle this is through an exhaust cutout, a bypass valve welded into the exhaust pipe that lets you close off the straight pipe path and run through the factory system when you need to pass inspection. Closed, the car sounds and tests completely normal. Open, it sounds and performs like a different vehicle entirely. Your engine control unit is the brain that manages every parameter of how your engine runs: fuel delivery, ignition timing, boost pressure if you're turbocharged, rev limits, throttle response. From the factory, every one of those parameters is set conservatively, not for your benefit, but for emissions compliance, for reliability across a global range of fuel qualities, and for warranty cost control. A custom ECU tune recalibrates those parameters specifically for your engine, your modifications, and the fuel you're actually running. On a stock engine with premium fuel, a tune can add 15 to 30 horsepower and significantly improve throttle response by closing the gap between when you ask for power and when the engine delivers it. On a modified engine, a tune isn't optional. It's the difference between your modifications working and your engine running rich or lean and damaging itself. The legal issue is emissions. A tune that advances ignition timing, modifies fuel maps, or alters boost parameters will almost always push your vehicle out of compliance with its original emissions certification. In states with OBD emissions testing, a modified ECU is a fail. Not always immediately detectable, but increasingly so as testing technology improves. The performance gain is real, and the risk is inspection-related rather than roadside, which makes this one of the more manageable mods on this list in terms of day-to-day exposure. This next one sits at the intersection of performance and function rather than pure power, but it belongs on this list because the performance case for dark tint is more serious than most drivers realize. Solar heat entering through your windows is one of the biggest contributors to interior temperature buildup, which directly affects your air conditioning system load. Your AC compressor is parasitic. It draws power directly from your engine. In stop-and-go traffic in summer heat, a heavily loaded AC system can rob you of 10 to 15 horsepower and measurably reduce fuel economy. Film below the legal visible light transmission limit in your state, typically 35 or 50% VLT depending on where you live, blocks significantly more solar radiation than legal tint. The interior stays cooler, the AC runs less aggressively, and you get that power back. The risk here is the most visible and consistent on this list. Law enforcement can and does pull vehicles over for tint violations, and fines vary by state from minor to meaningful. It's also one of the easiest mods to reverse. The film comes off with a heat gun and a razor blade. Your catalytic converter is doing two jobs simultaneously. It's cleaning your exhaust gases to meet emission standards, and it's also restricting flow on a stock vehicle. That restriction is designed in. On a modified vehicle making more power than the factory ever intended, that same restriction becomes a bottleneck. High-flow catalytic converters replace the factory unit with one that has significantly larger cells per square inch, allowing more exhaust gas to flow through while still performing catalytic conversion. They're legal in most states as a direct replacement part. They're not legal in California without CARB certification, and the certified versions give up some of the flow advantage that makes them worth installing. A complete cat delete is a different conversation entirely. Federally illegal on any vehicle manufactured after 1975 and registered for street use. But on a dedicated track car that also happens to be street-driven occasionally, or on a pre-1975 vehicle exempt from federal emissions requirements, the performance difference between a stock cat and no cat at all is one of the most significant single-part swaps you can make on a naturally aspirated engine. The honest answer for most drivers is the high-flow cat. Most of the gain, a fraction of the legal risk, and enough flow improvement that you'll feel it back-to-back against the factory unit. This next one sits outside the engine bay entirely, but belongs on this list because it directly affects how you drive and how your car performs in real-world conditions. A radar detector doesn't make your car faster, it makes you faster by giving you the information you need to use the performance your car already has without consequences. Radar detectors are illegal to use in Virginia, Washington, D.C., and on military bases nationwide. They're also banned for commercial vehicles over 10,000 pounds in all states. Everywhere else in the United States, they're completely legal, which surprises a significant number of drivers who assume the ban is universal. The modern high-end detectors, the Uniden R8, the Escort Redline 360C, the Valentine 1 Gen 2, are not the radar detectors your parents had in the 1990s. They use GPS databases to filter out false alerts, directional arrows to tell you exactly where a signal is coming from, and sensitivity levels that can detect instant on radar at distances that give you enough time to actually respond. In states where they're legal, they're one of the highest value performance investments you can make per dollar spent. Your factory halogen headlights are producing somewhere between 700 and 1200 lumens per bulb. A properly installed HID or LED conversion in the same housing can produce 3000 lumens or more. The difference at night in terms of how far ahead of your car you can see, how early you can identify hazards, how much reaction time you actually have is significant. The legal problem is the housing. Halogen housings are designed with specific reflector geometry calibrated for the light source they were built around. When you put a different light source into that housing, the beam pattern changes in ways the housing wasn't designed to produce, and the result is scatter. Light that should be hitting the road in front of you is instead scattering into the eyes of oncoming drivers. That's why HID and LED conversions in non-projector halogen housings are federally non-compliant under FMVSS 108. Not because the bulbs are too bright, but because the housing can't control where that brightness goes. The correct solution is a projector retrofit, replacing the halogen housing entirely with a projector housing designed for HID or LED, which controls the beam precisely and is fully compliant. It costs more, and it actually works the way the marketing for conversion bulbs promises, but doesn't deliver. Lowering your vehicle lowers its center of gravity. A lower center of gravity reduces body roll in corners, improves weight transfer under braking, and tightens steering response in ways that compound springs and coilovers deliver predictably and measurably. On a vehicle that spends any time on winding roads or tracks, the handling improvement from a quality suspension setup is one of the most transformative mods you can do. Every state has minimum ground clearance requirements for street-driven vehicles, typically between 3 and 4 inches from the lowest structural point of the vehicle to the ground. Go below that and your vehicle is technically not street legal. In practice, enforcement is inconsistent. Law enforcement rarely carries measuring equipment during routine traffic stops, and clearance violations are almost always secondary charges rather than primary ones. The practical sweet spot for a street-driven car sits just above the legal minimum, giving you most of the handling benefit without the daily punishment of bottoming out on every driveway exit. This next mod is specifically for turbocharged vehicles and specifically for owners who have upgraded their turbo or boost pressure without a corresponding tune. The blow-off valve, the part that releases pressurized air when you lift off the throttle between gear changes, is calibrated from the factory for the exact boost levels and airflow your engine was designed to handle. When you add an aftermarket blow-off valve venting to atmosphere on a speed density system, one that measures airflow by calculating it rather than measuring it directly, you create a situation where the air the system metered is being vented before the engine can use it. The ECU thinks that air went into the engine, so it delivers fuel for air that was never there. The result is a momentary rich condition that causes hesitation, stumble, and over time, increased wear. The fix is a recirculating BOV or a full tune that accounts for the vented air. The whoosh sound it makes isn't free, you're paying for it somewhere in your power curve. This last one is the mod mechanics know about and don't advertise. The exhaust gas recirculation system takes a portion of your exhaust gases and routes them back into your intake manifold. The purpose is emissions control. Recirculating exhaust reduces the combustion temperatures that produce NOx emissions, which are regulated under federal and state law. What the EGR system also does is introduce hot, dirty, oxygen-depleted exhaust gas into your intake charge. The air going into your combustion chamber is less pure, less oxygen-rich, and hotter than it would be without the system, and every one of those things works against combustion efficiency. Deleting the EGR system, physically removing it or blocking it off and tuning it out of the ECU, produces cleaner intake air, lower intake temperatures, and more complete combustion. On diesel engines especially, an EGR delete can produce meaningful power gains, significantly improved fuel economy, and dramatically extended engine life by eliminating one of the primary sources of oil contamination and carbon buildup on diesel intake systems. It is also a federal emissions violation. Full stop. The EPA takes EGR deletes on diesel trucks seriously. Fines for individual vehicle owners have been issued, and shops that perform them commercially have faced significant federal action. The performance case is real and well documented. The legal risk is the most serious on this entire list. If you drive a diesel and you're asking whether mechanics do this anyway, yes. If you're asking whether you should, that's a conversation for you, your mechanic, and your risk tolerance. 10 mods. Some will cost you a fine. Some will cost you an inspection fail. One could cost you significantly more. All of them actually work, which is exactly why people keep doing them. Drop a comment with the mod you're already running or the one you're planning to add next. And if you want to know which car parts brands mechanics actually trust when they're building these setups, that video is right here. Watch it next.